Hello everyone, Jeff with you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be in this big, wide, wonderful world. It's great to have you on board for another UK session. Starts with Ash and myself. Ash will be joining us very shortly, I trust, and we'll be talking all things currency trading. And of course, we'll be talking about the FTSE as well, which is where Ash likes to hang out, and we'll be talking about that with him in the very near future. First thing I would look at is to catch up with news and what's going on in terms of news events. So let's take a look at our preferred calendar, which is the Forex Factory. And not no affiliate with the Forex Factory, it's just the one we've been using for yonks and yonks and yonks. So today, what have we got? Well, we've got Aussie news already been done, where we had two RBA assistant governors speaking, Ms. DeBell. Don't know that they've rocked the market too much, but I did notice there was a big gap on Aussie Kiwi this morning. Obviously, something going with the Kiwi, I should have thought. What else has happened today? A little bit of light impact news coming out of Germany, coming out of the Bank of Japan. There was some light duty news, and I suppose the focus really is way later for us. I'm on British time, of course. That's around about 9 hours away. So I don't know if Carney's going to be worrying me too much in the early session of the UK. So we'll wait and see on that one. But really, not a whole lot happening today. Into the week, of course, I think it gets a little bit more exciting, with Bank of Canada rate statement coming out, and we've got, of course, associated with that, the press conference. And I suppose the bigger one of the week is this one, the ECB press conference, and of course the interest. Let me get that word out. Announcement on Thursday. Not expected to do anything, of course, and we'll be having a big discussion about news in the evening session of TTR, not on YouTube, of course. That's a subscribed service later in the day. If you don't know how to get into that, then ATW is the place to go. So actionstowealth.com to have a look how you get into those webinars. Okay, let's get back to business, or into business if you like, and take a quick look around the place and see what we can find. We'll start on currencies, of course, and my strategy that I've been trading for moons and moons and moons. I'm going to make this one a tough one. That sounds like Ash.
Hi mate, can you hear me?
Yeah, mate, I can hear you. How you doing?
Hello?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Just bear with us for a second, guys. Okay, so I'll just keep going until Ash can actually come into
Testing.
the room. And he's in the room, but he just can't hear me. So
I'll cool. Okay. You try and speak again.
Hello, Ash. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Ash. Can you hear? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Ash. All right, I'll just continue to talk, guys, and if you can join in every day. If not, then we'll just assistant. All right, what have we got here? We've got Euro dollar, which is like pretty much where my stomping ground is most days. Have a look at the daily chart first up. That gives us a reasonable indication as to what might be going on, as always. And thus far, what I can say is...
You can hear me, mate. I can't see or hear you.
I'm not sure why. Twice, 3 times. Getting a bit of a double bottom effect here.
That sounds up.
And yesterday's bar was pretty much a rejection of that line that we said, which is the weekly. So the daily has also ducked underneath the weekly. That's giving me a bearish outlook. I'm not that convinced that in terms of being able to be ready to go trade. But there's definitely things there, isn't there? It's ejection bar here, but off what is my question? I suppose if we draw a line through there is a level, there's no doubt there's a level. And guys, just hang on 2 seconds. I've got Ash trying to communicate with me, and I'm just going to hear him. So just give us a tick. Okay, sorry guys, still communicating with Ash, trying to sort out these issues. Okay, so that level there is valid.
You want to try and pop out and pop in again?
Are you talking to me, Ash? Sorry guys, I really apologise for this. Hello Ash, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
It's everybody else.
Hello Ash. 1, 2, 3. I wish I could read the chat in here, guys. Because that would let me know if anybody can hear me. Maybe it's my end. But everything seems okay my end, which is weird.
I'll tell you what, let me try and pop out again.
Ash, can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
Let's see if I can come back.
All right. So Ash is going to try and duck. I'm assuming that everyone else can hear me except Ash. So I'll continue my little chit chat. I'm on the Euro, I'm on the trading chart on the Euro, and where we sit here is at this little double bottom, as I said. Price has broken through the weekly pivot last week, retested it late in the week on Friday, and yesterday's bar was an absolute rejection of that level. Now that level has also got form here of support and form here as month last month, August. I've been September. Oh, the year goes fast, doesn't it? So look, this is a bit confusing fast. And the reason it's confusing is that we're coming off very, very tight. When I say tight, it's tight where and I don't see us going in a direction that really is indicative of a trend. In other words, we appear to be, in my opinion, going into perhaps another range. This range here, of course, has been happening since May. We've come out of it once, out of it twice, out of it the third time. We're going back into it. Great question. I can't. So, what do I see? As I said, I see another consolidation form. So I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart, and the 4-hour chart
still can't hear you
fairly clearly.
or see your screen.
Hello, Ash. I'm just going to try Ash's screen, guys, for a tick. Whoa, no, that doesn't work. Okay, let me try that again. Okay. So I don't know where the issue is, but as far as I'm aware, you guys can see and hear me quite okay, but Ash cannot. So again, I'm just going to continue. So going to this 4-hour chart, I'm seeing that we're absolutely at the bottom of this range, which is defined by these two bottoms, if you like, and we're potentially putting in a higher low here with this hammer type bar that we're seeing form as we get towards the opening of the UK session. You can also see that inverted one that we bounced off the daily pivot, sorry, the weekly pivot yesterday, and price was down.
I can't hear you, mate. Unfortunately, I've popped in and out a few times. what I can do, if you can hear me and you can see my screen, then I could do a bit of analysis, and as long as the viewers can see us both, then they will get some analysis. Our chat is going to be the difficult bit. But you let me know. I can see you typing on Skype, so you let me know what you want me to do.
Okay, Ash, I know you can't hear me, but
okay, cool.
Given us the message, and I'll cue him in when I'm done here. So Ash, you can present.
All right.
But I just can't. Ready. So as I was saying, we've bounced very, very strongly. The weekly pivot yesterday, and put in some nice bearish prices, coming right down to the bottom, or near the bottom of this range, and that, I believe, while we're seeing this little bar form here, maybe reverse back to the daily pivot. It's a bit tough to trade unless you've got something that indicates to you that this could turn around. Potentially, we've got a bullish engulfing bar here, and now with this potential, and it's only potential, higher low, and albeit barely higher low, we could look to maybe place a trade looking for the daily pivot, maybe even the weekly pivot as a target. That's a really high risk trade, I would say. And on the first candle of UK session, I won't be doing that. That's for sure. But this is the 4-hour bar, so we may have time on the smaller time frames, and I'll go to those very, very briefly and show you what I'm seeing. So even with inside this double bottom, where we've got we don't have a reversal bar here on the 30-minute chart, and that's the issue. So I can't really trust this here. This is the double bottom, which I'm prepared to call it the double bottom. I think these open, close, and actually, well, this candle, that'll do me. So we'd be looking for a subsequent higher low from which to trade in this direction. So that's what I'll be looking for on the. Now I think whilst Ash is here, before I go any further, I'll do or his analysis on the thing. We'll have a listen to that.
Right. You let me know when I'm in, mate, and I will. Okay, cool. Right. Hopefully, if you can see my screen, let me know. This is what I am looking at. Here we go. Right, cancel is short. Now, I don't want to get in here. I want to get in somewhere. Oh, yeah. How's that now, mate? Cool. Okay. All right. Now I'm back. So I'm looking to get in around about the spot, so 0.7652 area. This is where I want to get in, somewhere around there. You know, I want to see. I've seen a break and so far a push to the downside on the 15-minute chart. So what I'm really after is for this 15 to push back to the upside and hit me around about here. So if it pushes back into that area, then I'm going to be taking a trade, and I'm going to use my stops pretty tight. You could put it right at the highs if you so choose, but I'm going to put my stops above this high, so 76101. So let's go ahead and place that. So 761, and I'm gonna be risking manage this twice, so I'm gonna put 0.8. I could do I could do one, but let's do 0.8. I'm going to put this on twice. My pending order is going to be sell limit, and I'm going to be entering spot 76052, maybe even slightly lower to this bar here, 7604. 7604.
Okay, guys, obviously Ash having issues again. He's just describing a trade on CAD Swiss, and he's short as a limit order on
Yeah,
CAD
I don't think that worked. There we go. Okay, so that order's in the market. I'm going to do exactly the same thing again because I want 2 trades on. Because I need to shut this down, and it's the best way for me to manage it. 6041. Now I'll get the order in first. Sorry, I'll get the order in first. So the 76101. 1. And we are doing a sell limit. Give me 7604. There we go. What have I done there? 76. There we go. So, what's going on? 0.76 101. There we go. Right, it should be all right. Let's check the rest of it. Yeah. There we go. So I've got two orders in the market. Now, let's talk about management. So if we get entered, oh my God, again, am I back? Cool. Okay, so if we get entered, did you get all that? Did you get all the entry numbers there, Jeff? Sure. Okay, so the entry for this one is 0.764. It's right here. 0.764. It's a sell limit, and my stop loss is at 0.7610. Okay, so they're the two numbers. Entry at 0.7604, and the stop loss at 0.7610. So that's what I'm looking to get into. Somewhere along this trend line, horizontal levels. There's just some really nice confluence in this area. Pivots I haven't got on this particular chart, unfortunately, but it's not going to be a big deal. Now, let's have a look at potential targets. The first one I'm obviously going to look for is down here. That was the previous low. And you can see from that point to that point, well, in fact, let's measure it. That's about 6 to the upside, and it's 12-ish to the downside. So for the first half, I'm looking for 2 to 1 for the first half. If I get it. No, we may not get this. We'll have to see what happens here. But if that goes into the market, for the first half, I'm looking for 2 to 1. Now, I'm going to go on to a longer-term time frame to see where I might get for the second half. Now, I'm going to look at this trend line here. It's going to break through there, really. Right, one moment, one moment. Now, I really like this setup, but that is a huge issue down there. And I didn't see that as that tight. Okay. Let's look at this. I'm going to take this out. Now, the reason I'm going to take it out is I think I can get more information before entering. It's not that, that I don't like the trade, but that's a really long established trend line down there, and we're entering this on a 15-minute chart. So what I want to see instead now is it's kind of a good, because we've seen the metrics, but now what I want to see is this pop forward and prove that it's not going to go any higher. Because this now, you know, if we look at this on a daily chart or a 4-hourly chart to get a little bit more clarity, that's a bounce point, and that's a bounce point on a much wider and longer term time frame. So I think that is going to put that one to the back of the queue. Now we should really. You let me know if you need the screen back at any time, mate. Because we can't enter that. We can't do a trade like that. So what I'm going to look for instead is to see if there's anything to trade on the FTSE. Now that's down out there. Oh yes, sorry, this pound. Let's talk about this pound. And I'll be. Well, it's a shame I'm not going to be able to get your opinion, Jeff. And this is also a long. Sorry, this is a long. This one. This is looking for a long instead of the. Yeah. There, sorry mate, am I back? Back now, okay. So I was looking at euro pound for a long. Now, obviously, we don't really have the opportunity as yet, but let's not discard it, because there is plenty of time in the day, obviously, to pretend with this. I was saying that this is the potential target up here, and it might be that as time goes on, the target starts, you know, if it's this late on, that it's getting towards that trend line, this upper line and upper level is going to act as an area of resistance. So that's going to be pretty tough. Where are we at here? Okay. Is that for us, Jeff?
Sorry, mate.
So that we can't really aim for much higher than that. Now, your question about the other order, the CAD Swiss.
Okay, guys, this is here he is.
Oh yeah, do you know what? The internet here is awful. I'm in the foyer of the hotel to try and get better internet, and it's still bad. It's really bad. Yeah, what do you want to do, mate? This order's been cancelled.
Lloyd, I know
but it's not off the table. I'm still looking at those particular numbers, but I'm looking for a better signal at 0 spots. 7604 for the entry.
Okay, Lloyd, I know you were in the room. Could you please
Nothing
tell
at
me
present, no, nothing at present. I'm looking at CAD Swiss shorts, but at this particular stage, I'm going to wait and see if I get the setup I want.
All right, happy days, mate. I know you can't hear me, but
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll sit in the background and stay here, because this is intermittent. I can see it dropping on off, because even my MT4 is kicking in and out, which is going to be kind of dangerous to trade anyway. And then if I've got something, I'll pipe up and I'll send you a message.
All right, awesome. So go for CAD Swiss at the moment. He was looking to trade a couple of options there, and he was looking to short the market at
giving you the screen back, hopefully.
He has cancelled those orders. So we're going to come back to me, and hopefully we can sort this issue out. So Lloyd can hear and see me, so I can assume everyone else can see and hear me, which is great. Sorry about Ash's unfortunate intermittent internet issues. All right, so let's go back to what I was looking at, the euro dollar, and looking for a higher low here. Now that we do have a double bottom, well, I consider it to be a double bottom anyway. I need to see that higher low, because the market is, well, not so much by this chart, but the market is, according to this scenario, a bear market. So we're looking to trade counter trend here, and if I'm going to trade counter trend, I need a few reasons why. So thank you, Lloyd, for that. Now I understand exactly what's going on. You can stand down, mate. Much appreciated. All right, so that's euro dollar. Still waiting on that. I won't be trading the first candle of the UK session. I'll be waiting to see exactly what happens there. If this goes straight to the daily pivot, then all bets will be off. But if we hang around here and continue to look like a higher low, then I'll look to do something perhaps a little bit later, perhaps on the hourly chart, or perhaps on the 30-minute chart. That candle there doesn't suit me at all, I've got to say. It's pretty much a one-to-one scenario to the daily pivot, not even a one-to-one scenario to the daily pivot, but it's very, very early, and anything can happen here in my humble opinion. When I say early, it's early in this potential move. It could happen, of course, that we go straight to daily pivot or even weekly pivot, but it's just trying to catch a falling knife here, trying to just say, yes, let's go. Then it'll work sometimes, but my experience tells me that now is not the time to go. I need to wait a little bit on that one, so we shall. But my analysis is that we are at the bottom of this little, what can I call it, intra-week scenario, intra-month we'll call it, little intra-month range that we've got going on here, and that's what I had on the 4-hour chart. So we're at the bottom of that, and I see the opportunity for this to bounce to the top without question. But I've just got to be patient and wait my turn. But I'll be looking for that. Don't be concerned that I won't be. I certainly will be. Let's go to the Aussie. Not dissimilar, and again I'll be looking for this higher low. But once again, I won't be trading the first candle of UK session, nor will I be trading it until I get a candle that suits me. Now this candle looks like a bullish decisive bar at present, and with a few seconds to go in the hour, it's not going to change. Of course, we've got 2 hours to go in this candle, but it does look very bullish. So if I go to the smaller time frames, what do I see? Again, I see an untested daily pivot sitting above us. Again, I see potential here in a bullish engulfing bar, but I don't see the right bottom and then high low, confirming that if price doesn't want to go this way, the likelihood is it will go this way. And again, the daily pivot will be definitely a test here, so target here, and that's what I'll be looking to trade. but not yet. Again, trying to catch the falling knife, very prospect, and I don't want to be doing that, and I want to see what the first UK session has for us, which of course is now forming. That is indeed the first hourly candle of the UK session. So, same story with the Aussie. That is not what I'm trying to achieve here. What I'm trying to achieve here is get this daily pivot tested, but I don't want to trade it with a big bar. I want a good reward on offer here. If we are to trade in that direction, I want to have the timing right as well. This may not be it, so I won't be looking to trade this anytime soon. Let me have a look at the 30-minute chart before I actually dispense with this, and there you can see the very clear bullish engulfing bar that we do have. And if I do get a higher low here off the double bottom, then that's the time for me to go, but it's not now. So that's what I'll be waiting for on the Aussie. Pound, look, it's a bit different in terms of its bearishness. It's very, very bearish, this cross, without any shadow of a doubt. Those of you who've been following the morning session with TTR, you will have seen that we traded this candle here in the morning session as a daily trade. That's going gangbusters at present. It was traded on the Royal account, so very, very difficult to show it to you, given that those accounts have now closed and we're on a new server, or a new server, yes, but certainly a new broker. And that's why you can't see that trade, because it wasn't taken on this server. But it's very, very bearish. It has broken this support area here, and very, very decisive bar. Like what I'm seeing here at the moment, if we were to get price to pivot and that broken type, if we were to get that test here, then I think this would be a pretty bearish sign, and I may even be willing to trade it or scale back into it, but I don't like the price. And the reason I don't is obvious. We'll be trading straight into that level there, which of course was a swing back early in the month when we looked like taking on this high, and didn't get to that high, and then we got this message, and we traded this, as I said, in TTR morning, and that one's still going gangbusters. So what we've got is a scenario where we've got a dominant break of a trend line. I'm looking for a nice little daily pivot test here today, and if we can find that, then there may well be an opportunity to trade it short. I don't like trading it from here though. I'll see if I can find something up near the retest area, if that is to be the case. Can I trade it to the retest area is the big question, and of course the answer is going to be very similar to Euro dollar and Aussie dollar. If I do get the opportunity, I most definitely shall. Hello, who have I got there? I know who I've got there. Someone's talking, must be Ash, who's still having issues, of course. We'll try and sort those. Big bullish engulfing bar at a level that has been tested and proven as support, as you can see here. That level is indicative of price. Oh, I can hardly see it. 129.50 odd, thereabouts. Big bounce off that. Big rejection bar before it. So yes, it is definitely giving me the signal that this is on, but it's not giving me the opportunity to trade it at the moment. I certainly can't trade that bar. What I'll be looking for, again, very, very similar to what I've described on the Euro and the Aussie. Be looking for a higher low in this area here somewhere. That would suit me down to the ground. So if I were to get a nice rejection bar here of that level again, that would suffice. But I really don't want it to get that low. I'd like to see it maybe bounce in this vicinity here. So I'd like to see the price pull away from this trend line now and give me a little bit of a turnaround here, and that's what I'll be looking to trade it long at this point. Thanks very much, PB, and all of those who have assisted me with that. Very, very good of you. It's impossible to see what is actually going on in this control room, and that's very, very frustrating. So that's pound, and still maintaining that bearish outlook that we've got. I see a very, very strong bearish bar in the daily candle of yesterday. A retest here does really provide a potential opportunity to scale back into this. Someone's trying to talk to me. I don't know who it is. And all I'm getting is muffled. So I'm sorry I can't answer whoever that is trying to talk to me. So, yep, daily pivot test, can trade it if it does set up, but at this point in time, we'll just be a spectator until it does. All right. Is that UPB trying to talk to me? Sorry, this shambles, this internet, whatever's going on here is just ridiculous. And I do apologize.
You can hear me, let me know. I
can hear you, Ash, yes.
Have a try.
Ash, can you hear me? Just about to throw something at the computer, I can assure you. You can't hear me, obviously, still, so I'll just continue. All right, so that's the three majors that I'm trading at the moment anyway, and they're all very, very similar. We've all got untested daily pivots. I'll be looking to take advantage of a daily pivot test if possible, but I do need to see the right setup, and they're not there at present. I'm going to go to some crosses here. Last week I was a little bit bullish the yen and willing to trade anything against it short. Didn't have a lot set up except dollar yen. And if you're in the show, this show last Thursday, I think it was, we got you into a short dollar yen, and that turned out to be a very, very interesting trade. Let me show it to you. If you put dollar yen up, or not. There we go. There's dollar yen. 30-minute chart it was, and it was on Thursday. It was the last trade of the week, and we got you into the markets trading this bar right here. And it's very, very similar to what I'm looking for today, standing on my head, if you like, because we've got a nice resistance area here. We've got a double top in place, triple top, whatever you want to call it. And we've got a big bearish engulfing bar sitting here. And then we've got a beautiful lower high on a nice swing. So that was the trade that we took. We traded this bar here. And if you stayed into that, I'd love to know how you guys went actually, but I've got no way of monitoring that because you can't chat to me or do anything in the box. So unfortunately, I don't know how everyone else went with that. But the obvious trade was to take profit here and scale out. And luckily enough, well, if you stayed in and got the rest of that move, happy days. It was a very, very nice trade as it turns out. And again, that's exactly what I'm looking for today in reverse on the majors. I'm looking for that double bottom that we've got on most cases, and now I'm looking for higher lows. As far as your dollar yen is concerned, it's in a nice place here, coming very, very close to the weekly pivot. Would much prefer to have seen it bounce at that area, of course. Okay, Ash has got a trade, guys, sorry. He will try and describe it to us. Ash, go, mate, if you can hear me. Obviously you can't. Man, oh man, what a shambles.
Sorry, mate, this is a nightmare. I've gone in pound Aussie shorts, if you can see my screen, and I'm looking just for this to break down here. The numbers are 1.8336, 1.8336, or 1.8335. Stops at 1.8364. So it's a pound Aussie short. 15-minute trade, and we are looking to for this to break down and again can look at the
Okay, clearly, guys, we have lost Ash again. This isn't frustrating at all by any stretch. Technology is wonderful when it works, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to ask Ash to type his trade into the chat that I'm having with him, and hopefully we'll get there that way. So I'll give you the trade and its parameters very, very shortly. He's typing in there now, so I can give it to you. Looks like I've got chat here. Very interesting. All right, we can chat in here now, guys. That's good. There is an upside to Shimoza at the moment. Okay, so Ash is trying to give me that trade. Whilst he's doing that, I will resume with my analysis. I really like to see US dollar yen hit this weekly pivot. I said I was keen last week to get anything short against the yen, and that's turned out to be a wise thing in most cases. But I'm just not sure we're ready to go further with that. And the reason is what I'm seeing on this screen here right now, particularly for dollar yen, where I see we've broken back above the pivots, the weekly pivot here in particular, and now we're retesting it. But we're also we've smashed through the daily pivot, as a matter of fact, and that's what I'm seeing here now. So this, for me, is potentially a bullish signal. And I suppose if you're a fib fan, you can pull a fib on here, and you'll get a decent number. You probably get a decent number off here as well. Why don't I just do it rather than talk about it? Huh? All right, so we pull a fib there, and we've got a beautiful bounce 618 here, which of course only goes back to those resistance areas that I spoke about, and this area here. So we've kind of tested that again, and this really is the tail of the tape for me, this bar that we're watching unfold today. Thus far, of course, very, very varied. I don't know that, well, I won't say it can't continue, but I will say that I don't know that it will continue. How do I trade this is the question, and there's a couple of ways you can see here at the moment, but both I'd really like, as I said before, the weekly pivot test to actually take place, and if that were the case, then I've got a good reason, if you like, to expect a bounce. Whilst it hasn't tested it, it gives me the DPG a little bit, and the reason for that is it's still untested, and I feel the test is imminent. Or is it untested? You know, it's one of those things where you think, all right, well, the brokers are going to be different around the place, and what have we got? We've got a couple of pips. I think I'm really willing to call that a test of the weekly pivot. So I guess what I'm looking for here, and tomorrow, if on the daily chart, we've got something that looks like a reversal bar. So price comes back here, maybe matches that bar there, and gives me a low test bar. I think that would be a fairly bullish sign, and I'll be willing to take that long at that point on the daily chart. So we'll be certainly looking at that tomorrow. On the morrow, it will depend entirely on how this bar looks. You can see the pivots are mixed here, giving us the indication that price may not go too far away at this point. So it may not be in breakout territory. I don't know that there's anything coming up during the week news-wise that should stop this from doing what it's going to do. I certainly haven't seen anything. Maybe there's something else that springs out of the woodwork. But for mine, I'm giving it a chance bullishly, and that's where I'm focused today. So looking for an entry long. Let's see if we can find one on a smaller time frame. Again, I think I'm willing to call that a weekly pivot test. I'm seeing a higher high here. It's come back to the weekly pivot. So I'm really willing to give this a go if it does provide me with an entry. Where's it going to come from on this chart? This being the 4-hour chart, as I said. It's going to be tough if it is a reversal bar here to trade it, because we've got trading straight into the weekly pivot, straight into the daily pivot, and that concerns me a little bit. I'd much prefer to get a 30-minute or an hourly opportunity down here, and that's what I'll be looking for. So let's go to the 30-minute chart and see if there's going to be one here. Oh yes, a nice reversal bar sitting here, have we not? Is it tradable is the question. Gee, it's tough, isn't it? We've had on this 30-minute chart, it's tough to call this, as I was saying on the other three majors. Tough to call it because you've got such momentum here. Again, you're trying to catch the falling knife. And on the 30-minute chart, I think this little gap between the bottom of that bar and the weekly pivot really is something that I need to consider here. So I'd definitely like to see that on the 30-minute chart, weekly pivot tested, and then maybe look for something a little bit better than what I've currently got. It really is a case of, yes, I want to trade it, but experience tells me that now is not the time to do so. So I'd like to see the weekly pivot tested and then look for something off that, a higher low again perhaps. Although I'm not absolutely convinced that I need a higher low here, I just want to see a better opportunity than what I'm getting now. In particular, a weekly pivot test. So that is dollar yen. A little bit non-committal on it, I know, but I am keen if I do so. Okay, what's Ash got here? Okay, the trade that he took, that's what I'm going to make. For those of you who didn't hear it, it's pound Aussie. Let me put a pound Aussie chart up. Pound Aussie. I don't have it on here. How do I even find that? Oh, that's annoying, isn't it? Symbols, there we go. Symbols, come on. Pound Aussie. You guys can't see, this is on another chart. Sorry about that. It's 4x. And I'm looking for pound Aussie, and I found it. There it is. Close that. Chart window. And we'll bring out a template. There we go. It is a short at 1.8335, which we've already gone through. So I hope you guys got that before I'm giving it to you now. The short is here at 1.8335. Right about there. Stop loss is 1.8363. Pretty much there. That's your stop loss. The first profit is 1.8300, which is right there. We'll just change the colour of that so we know where it is. That's the first profit level. And the second profit level is 1.8255. 1.8255. There we go. So entry, again, if you get an opportunity and want to trade that, or want to follow it at least the entry again is at 1.835. Pretty much where that red line is, not too far from where price currently exists. Our first take profit is at 1.8300, and our second take profit is at 1.8255, with the stop loss up here at 1.8363. Okay, so you've all got that now. If not, I don't know that you can probably tell me. Brian, message chat box, and I'll go through it again. So that's Ash's trade. I was getting close to going to more yen pairs, and one of them is pound yen right now. Pound yen, I suppose everything's very, very similar today in what I'm looking for, and the reason for that is that price has given us a fairly decisive day yesterday, and market has gapped even a little bit as well on the back of that. So we've seen areas where pivots haven't been tested, and pound yen, of course, is in that group as well, and I'm looking for that to change. When I say change, looking for the daily pivot to be tested. Again, like the others, it's very, very difficult just to trade against this momentum without reason so to do. So you're looking for some support in the starter, and if we go to the daily chart, we can probably find a line to draw in our chart that gives us some support. How's that one looked? Looks reasonable to me, doesn't it? It's been resistance here, support through here, support through here, support through here. That'll do me as a place. So I'm respecting that level, and I'll be looking for a bounce off that to trade to the daily pivot. That would be my one. Now I'd have to say that if I am going to do this, it will be at a fairly small risk, and the reason for that is that we are trading very, very counter momentum here. But I'm willing to take that because I like the fact that daily pivots like to be tested, and if I can find a way to do that, then I think this is probably the right area we're looking. Won't be the daily chart, of course, but it could be the 4-hour chart. If the 4-hour chart gives me a nice reversal bar here, that's potential for a trade. We could get our entry above this level, which would be important. So I'm really looking for maybe this to be a doji, maybe a low test bar, certainly a low test bar. And if that were the case, we might look to trade that on the 4-hour chart in 96 minutes and 30 seconds. But we've probably got opportunities before then. So let's have a look at the 30-minute chart and see what that looks like. Again, you can see the bounce area here. 145.50, I'll call that level. What I don't see, however, is an exciting bar here to trade. I'd like to see maybe a level tested, and that level could well be this area here. So if price manages to find its way over here at some stage and gives me a nice little bar that I'd like to trade, that's probably the area I'd like to trade in. So I'm not going to get into the market yet, similar to the others that I've said. Early days, it's too early to catch this, in my humble opinion. So I'll be waiting again for price to get to a level that I like, and maybe give me a higher low here at this level. Then I would be happy to take a trade, and it would be long. It's very, very difficult for me to be thinking about trading these crosses short until I see these retracements. And the retracements need to go back for mine to at least the daily pivot before I look to jump in. So this is very, very similar. Everything is so similar today. It's just not funny. Okay, I'm looking at Aussie yen at the moment. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. Before I do that, I'll go to the daily chart and show you the reason why I'm thinking what I'm thinking. And of course, we'll get these support resistance lines sorted out as well. So the daily chart on Aussie yen, again last week I was looking for these shorts, and eventually they did turn up. If you were able to take advantage of them, happy days. Today, I think that's extremely difficult because of that momentum through Friday and yesterday. That took out these lows, but it didn't take out and set new lows, and that's the issue that we've got. So by definition, we're trading straight into lows, and this is a little bit too difficult for me, I'm afraid. We've got a higher low here. Potentially we're even going to get another higher low here. We've got high test bars sitting here. Price has really got no idea where it's going here in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. It really is going up and down with certain green bars, 2 reds, a green, 2 greens, a red. It's very, very mixed here as far as I can see. So I'm really not too keen to call a direction, apart from the fact that you'll notice once again that we've got an untested daily pivot. Not only that, we've got the daily pivot and the weekly pivot very, very close together. And when that's the case, price doesn't want to go too far away, because really what that's telling us is that price is sticking in that one area for pretty much, where have we been? Yeah, I'll say all the month, because you can see that the weekly pivots come down and they've kind of stuck together ever since. And that, of course, is a depiction of a market that's ranging. And I'm okay with that, but you do need to follow, well, I need to follow my own rules here. My own rules suggest to me that we are pretty much at the bottom of that range, and if you really want to see that range and can't see it at the moment, let's draw it in. I reckon it starts about here and goes through around about that area. Pretty close there too. We've had a little breakout of it here and a little breakout of it here to the high and low side. But this is a pretty strong signal here to me. This big Van Doji, well, it may not finish at that in 92 minutes time, but to me that's a strong indication that we don't really want to get interested down below this level again, and we could be looking at more upside. And when I see the untested pivots above us, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So on Aussie yen, once again, I'm a little bit on the side of the bulls. I'm hesitating to say I'm bullish, but I am a little bit on the side of the bulls for that reason alone. So again, if we do get back inside this range, I'll be looking for any signal that is telling me long. This could be construed as one of them, and I'd agree with that, but it is a lower low and not a higher low. So it's very, very difficult to trade a lower low long, and for that reason I'll be waiting again for Aussie yen to give me something a little better than it currently has delivered. The other cross I wanted to look at today is Euro CAD, and I didn't place this trade this morning, but I'm kind of a mind to change that decision. And here's what I'm thinking. It's high risk. This one's high risk trade, and what I'm thinking is trading this candle here, yesterday's bar, long above it. You can see why it's super risky, and it's because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections of the monthly pivot. That's why it's super risky, and I'm really speculating here. I think that this is the time that we're actually going to go through that. But if you have a look at big bullish engulfing bar, another big bullish engulfing bar, then a retracement off that same level that we're seeking to break, that's the monthly pivot, and a higher low here. From this level to here is a higher low, and another big bull bar, which once again failed at this level. But I also think that this candle here, which failed to get, well, it got about 50% into that bar, I suppose, but it really did fail to pick the bears up and take it with them, in my opinion. This candle's a bit interesting, of course, and I think if it were to take out this low, then my opinion would change. But whilst ever we've got an inside bar there, and whilst ever I see exactly what this bar is telling me, I'm thinking this can break long, and I am going to place a small order above this candle. Again, risk is going to be quite small because it is a high risk trade, so I'm not going to put much into it, but I think it's an order that we can take. Just give me a sec, guys. I know there's a whole lot of messages that I've got to answer here. They're probably relating to trade, so just give me a tick and I'll see what I can do. Okay, that's all sorted, guys. So thanks for that. Again, I am going to place this order, and again, I say to you, it's a very high risk trade, but I think the reward is there if we can actually get into this move. Oh my goodness. Hang on, guys. I've got a Skype call coming in, but I can't take it. So it's all happening here today. Just give me. Okay, really sorry for this disruption. It's been just a shambles, this webinar. I do apologise for it, and hopefully it's called out. Hopefully we'll fix that. All right, so I'm going to place an order here, and this is on EuroCAD, and it's on the daily chart, and we're going to trade it at, as I said, very small risk. I'm going to use a trade manager to do this because it is on the daily chart. I don't want to be checking it every 5 minutes. And I can't get the trade manager on there now. I can. Okay. So we're going to place this long above this bar here. And I can't see anything. Goodness me. All right, the risk I'm going to take is only 1/4%. So as I said, very, very little money that I'm putting onto the table here, and the reason for that is, as I described, we're trading into resistance, and it's not a great idea to do that without very, very good reason so to do. I think the reason's there, but that doesn't take away the risk. So we've still got the risk to contend with, and we're going to take this at very, very small risk. We're going to use my automated entries here, but I'm actually going to, no, I'll skirt around that. So those of you who don't have this tool at your disposal can get the levels. I'm actually going to go long at 1.5117. 1.5117. And my stop is going to be at 1.5011. So 1.5011 is my stop loss. Take profit I'm going to get rid of, because we'll deal with that as a trail probably. We're going to take a profit. Now, if I was going to be completely safe here, I'd take my profit before the high of these bars, but I don't think that's going to be sufficient on this risk that I'm taking. It's only going to be about 15 pips on a risk of what, 106. That's just not going to do it. So I'll take my first profit at a percentage of, or at a proportion of my target. So, and I'm going to make that 0.6, so 60% of the target, sorry, the size of the bar that I'm trading. I'm going to take profit at 60% of that risk. So that allows me to do that, working it out manually for you guys. If I've got a risk of what, 106, 60% of that be what, 61, something like that, 60, 65, 66, something in that vicinity. So that's where I'll be taking my first profit level. I'll give it a name in terms of level in a tick, if you like. At that time, I'm going to move my stop loss just below this pivot here, this weekly pivot. So that's going to be at 1.5044, let's say 1.5044. That won't give me the opportunity to do that, so I've actually got to deduct it. Goodness gracious. 5044 is going to be 73 pips. So I'm going to, when I take that profit level, I'm going to move my stop loss 73 pips from entry. So reducing the risk further down. Obviously that's what that's doing. Take profit 2, I'm not going to worry about because we'll be trailing at that point. So we can disable take profit 2 and we can buy into the market. All right, so let me repeat all of those things. TP1 is defaulted to 15 pips. Is it trying to tell me something? Perhaps it is. But that's not where I want it. I said I wanted TP1 at 60% of my risk. So let me change that. Again, proportional target is, that's why I've got a profit level. Get rid of that. Proportional target is 0.6 now. That should rectify that situation. There you go. All right, so our first take profit level is going to be at 63.6 pips. I'm just trying to give you a level on 1.5181. So the first take profit level is going to be 1.5181, at which time I'll move my stop loss just below the weekly pivot, which coincides with the daily pivot. Okay, so I'm not taking that much off my stop loss, but I am going to move it into an area where if we actually get stopped after we've got our first take profit, it will hurt us very, very little, with very, very much a conservative trade that I'm taking there because of the risk. So I'll repeat it if you want to follow it. The entry level is to buy on EuroCAD on the daily chart. We're trading long at 1.5117 with a stop loss of 106 pips. Our first take profit will be at 63.6, let's call that 64 pips, shall we? And we're going to close 55% of the order at that point, and we'll probably, well, we will trail. I'll just trail this maybe by 2 bars, maybe on swings. I'll make that decision as the time comes. All right, so EuroCAD long on the daily chart. So far, 2 trades today. We've got one from Ash, which is, what have we got? We've got pound Aussie short at 1.8335, if you've just joined late, with a stop loss at 1.8363. I'll bring that back up and see how that's going. Okay, so we're just around about that entry level right now, as a matter of fact. If you wanted to follow this one, entry 1.8335, stop loss is 1.8363 up here, and first take profit level is 1.83. Second take profit level is at 1.8255. That being on the small time frame. I'm not sure how to work it in the chart. Okay, 20 minutes to go in the show, which is just being a very, very frustrating one from a technical point of view. My apologies for that, but technology, as I say, is something, unfortunately, which is. And this is the reason I don't like to trade the first candle of the UK session, because it's very, very difficult to match up at times, and it can be a volatile situation. like to wait until that settles down. I think it really doesn't know at this point, hasn't made up its mind whether we're buying, whether we're selling, whether we're hitting these resistance and support areas, or what we're going to do. So I'm happy with that to say, okay, well, we don't know at the moment, and go with that. With the potential for entry here at the moment, these candles are kind of giving me no opportunity at all, because they're not telling me anything that we don't already know, and that is that we're in consolidation. I need price to settle down here, maybe a couple of inside bars, and maybe that higher low that I'm talking about over here. I don't see anything here that suits me at the moment. The Aussie, well, it's gone without us, and that's something for which I won't apologise, because, again, as I said, it is very, very tough to trade this scenario when you're looking for exactly what we've got, but it just goes too quick. This is not something that I can trade, because it's too early in the piece. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean it's early in the day or early in the afternoon. I mean it's early in this move, and I can't trade that without a little pullback first, telling me that this move is definitely positive, but I want to see it fail first. That is the bear's attempt to erase that candle, and we've got nothing of the sort. It's just gone on with the job, and that's fine. If it goes without me, that's fine. If you continue to trade that way, then I think you'd be far happier a person than try and catch this move every single time on the first attempt. It's something that's very, very difficult to do. But if you've done it, happy days. What do I need to see now? Well, once this daily pivot is tested, if it is to be the case, I can then go back to my bigger time frames and see what the real picture actually is, not the 30-minute picture. And that picture is a big bullish engulfing bar, of course. But again, nothing to trade here for me. I've got to see that pullback. And the reason I've got to see that pullback is if this trend, which is bearish clearly, not so much from this chart, but if I go wider, it will become clear to you that the primary trend is bearish. And certainly this little intermediate trend here is bearish as well. So to trade against that is a very, very difficult prospect. So you've got to be expecting that there will be bears come in here at some stage. And if they're serious, they'll return to trend. If they're not, then they'll give me this higher low that I'm looking for, and maybe we can then look to trade long. But until we see that, it's still looking for shorts, and I don't see anything there available to me at the moment. Back to cable. Cable, again, has done exactly the same as the Aussie and gone without me, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have an issue with it at all. Daily pivot test comes up. Again, we can look to the bigger picture and see exactly what's on here. And if we look at the bigger picture here on pound US dollar, it couldn't be clearer that we're in a very, very bearish frame of mind, coming off that big move that we saw in mid-late September. Got a big bounce at the monthly pivot of that month, but failed to take out that high and put in another bearish engulfing bar here. We got the lower high that we talk about, and that's exactly when we entered this trade on that particular candle. So that's looking very, very promising. If you're still in that trade, I think this retest of the trend line and daily pivot is very, very important to have happened. If it does want to reverse from here, we should get a signal for that. And that signal again will come off a higher low, in my humble opinion. If this is to be the retracement on these moves here, then we should see price continue to fall. That, of course, will be determined by exactly what price does at this confluence area of daily pivot and resistance trend line. So that's what I'm waiting to see. So I like the fact that we're retesting this area, and on the daily chart tomorrow, if this looks like this, it will be tempting to take it short, but again, we've got to be very careful of that level there as well. So it might be interesting tomorrow exactly how that looks. We'll assess that at the time. But here's the here's the confluence area that I'm talking about, daily pivot and trend line, and a retest of that is exactly what we're looking for. Would have been great to be able to trade it, but too quick for me. I needed to see something that would confirm that this was going to happen rather than guessing it was going to happen, which is exactly what I would have been doing. So part one of the day is pretty much over, apart from the euro hasn't gone yet. It wants to, as you can see. It wants to follow its mates, but it's not there just the daily pivot area like the other two have. I'm probably going to have to rest for a little bit now and wait for another opportunity. If I go to the miners here, I think that opportunity still exists on pound yen, most definitely. We're retesting this, well, what looked to be a base for me. As you can see, yesterday, prices hit that level, that resistance level, fallen back away, given us the reversal bar, and now again, exactly the same thing applies. We're looking for an opportunity to trade to the daily pivot. Because this one isn't trending as the others are, you can see that there's a primary bearish trend here, but you can see that there's also an intermediate move to the high side. So potential reversal was on there, and now we're looking to get another higher low here. This is the daily chart I'm looking at, and again tomorrow, if I see something like that, I may get interested, because we're bouncing, as I said before, potentially off this resistance area, form a support, and I think that's probably the place for this to bounce if it is to return to the land of the bulls, if you like. Today and in the next little bit, trying to trade that is quite interesting, because it hasn't formed yet on the daily chart. As you can see, it's kind of a candle. It's trying to do the same on the 4-hour chart. It's giving us on the hourly chart a strong bullish engulfing bar to follow up that hammer. So yeah, I think I can get interested in this cross as well. I'd like to pull away from this resistance line now and maybe give me a high test bar sitting on that line. If I were to get that, I think I'll be willing to trade that long. So that is pound yen. Aussie yen, interesting. This is the 4-hour chart on Aussie yen, and similar to what I was talking about on the euro. Was it the euro I was talking to? Dollar yen, maybe. Where was that chart that looked like that? Euro cat upside down. Aussie yen and pound yen very, very similar, of course, but yeah, I seem to have lost that. Maybe it was this chart I was talking about. So we've had a break of the trend line. We've got an untested daily and weekly pivot above us, but we've also got a retest of this trend line coming up now. The issue I would have here, and this is a very, very simple trade to take if you got yourself interested, would be a short underneath this bar. When I say an easy trade to take, one I wouldn't take, but it'd be a very, very easy trade to consider. I should put it that way. A couple of reasons here I wouldn't take this trade. One is, again, that we've got these pivots sitting here, tend to be a magnet to the market. We're at the bottom of this range, and we haven't cleared it yet. We've tried to clear it, but we haven't. And we'd be trading straight into this level here as well. So we're trading straight into support. We've also got a daily support level here as well. So I don't want to be trading into that. Definitely looking for longs here, not shorts. Again, if it goes short, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. But again, I'm probably looking for this higher low to happen, but they're not there just yet. EuroCAD, I've given you that order. On the 30-minute chart today, what would I be looking for? This one has had a daily pivot test, but not only has it had a daily pivot test, it's also had a retest of the daily pivot and bounced off it. I think that's fine, and if we do find that this continues lower, then that's no drama. Our order won't be entered. I don't expect our order is going to be entered today anyway, but we'll see. If it does continue lower here, then we'll reassess this tomorrow. But if you have a look at this chart, it's interesting, isn't it? It does line up what I was saying on the bigger time frames as well. See these big bull bars here? It's very, very difficult to ignore them until they're actually, I was going to use the word eradicated, and I suppose that's a pertinent thing to say, but until they're taken out, the strength of that is very, very much stronger than this fall away from it. The double top's interesting, and that lower high there was interesting as well, probably even tradable, that lower high there, and you'd be probably on good terms with yourself if you took that position. But at this point in time, this is still the most dominant factor on the chart for mine, and until this low is taken out, I'm looking for longs here. At the moment, can I find one? Look, it won't be that difficult for me to find one. If I saw another one of these little fellas here, we're getting a high test bar here, we're getting a high test bar here. If I would see another one sitting over here, I think I'd be taking that long at that point. I want a similar size candle, though. I don't want something, that's gigantic, so that I have to take a bigger risk into the trade. I'd like to see about a 10, 12 pip candle, which would give me the reward that I need to have a decent win here before price hits this level, because that's where I'll scale out. That'll be a profit area without question. I'll leave it open because I do like these bars, and I think they're probably telling me something. They're probably telling me that this daily order that I've got in the market, maybe I'm biased, but they're probably telling me that this daily order that I've got in the market will at least be looked at, and that's why I'm considering getting profit in the bank before we get here, because a look at and a nice entry are, of course, two different stories. So if I can get some profit in the bank here on the smaller time frames, it takes the risk out of this trade that I've got, which is, again, I repeat, is a high risk trade. So that's exactly what I'll be looking to do. I'll be looking on the 30-minute charts to trade up to my entry. So let's discover how that's possible. I'll put a little line across here for you so you can follow what I'm thinking. And what I'm thinking is, if this line here is again tested and gives me something like that, I would be interested in trading it long. Again, scaling out at this level, leaving something open to test and perhaps take on these new highs. Certainly, when I got to here, this being the entry on the daily chart, I'd be looking to at least cover the risk that I've got on that. At least cover the risk that I've got on that. If I've got that in the bank at this point, which maybe I do have, then I can probably just let both of these go. That'll be a question for tomorrow. As I say, I don't expect that's going to happen today, to be fair. A couple more things to look at before I do go. I haven't mentioned Aussie Kiwi today, and Aussie Kiwi is a cross that I haven't traded before, but I have added it to my little stable, if you like. And the reason I've done that is because I am primarily a range trader, not absolutely a range trader, but I love to trade inside ranges, and that range is now broken. The most recent range that we've been tracking on the daily chart here, broken, retested, and gone away. That labels it pretty much useless at the moment until we find that we're either back inside that range or another range has formed. So it's off the radar at the moment, but I just wanted to mention it because I don't trade it normally, but I have added it to the stable, as I say. And the reason is because of this. It does like to range. We've been in this range here down the bottom since 2013, for instance. And if we can take advantage of that by trading off the top of ranges down to the bottom, then happy days. And there's any amount of ranges in here that you can actually imagine you can trade off the top or bottom of, and I'll be looking for that. So I'll be looking for price. It's pretty tough at the moment because we're in a very smaller area of the chart. But if we got to these highs, for instance, then I'd be looking for that to turn around. If we got to these lows, then I'd be looking for that to turn around as well. So that's why Aussie Kiwi is of particular interest to me at the moment. And the other one that I haven't been trading is dollar yen, but we did trade this on Thursday, as I said. Got a nice trade in. We traded this bar here, again following the double top and the lower high. Got that in. Scale out here. That's your scale out area before the strong support. And if you stayed in, you would have got all of that move as well. Your exit points, yeah, look, the exit point wasn't that easy, to be fair. Pardon me. But if you consider the monthly pivot as a strong support level, then you've probably got to be thinking let me rephrase that. When we got in the trade here, you've probably got to be thinking that's a strong support resistance level as well. And if you go back into the smaller time frames, that's what we were actually facing. So you can see why that's good. I suppose to trade. Once you've got that monthly pivot and retested it, that's where you've got to be thinking that. How do you get out of here in terms of your exit point? Well, look, to be fair, that would have been mine, right down to the bottom of this range. Didn't happen, so the second part of that trade was no good for me. At the end of the day, there was probably good reason to think there was a scale out here, though, where I've got that yellow line. It's actually a 50% retracement, fib retracement. But it's been resistance and support in the past, so that would have been a good place for you to scale out as well. Didn't quite get to the bottom of this range. You'd have to be monitoring that to take full profit here, and pretty tough. But I guess once you saw that candle, this area is a scale out point anyway. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Do I want to trade dollar yen today? Not that fussed, to be fair. We spoke about the weekly pivot earlier, and price is giving us a bit of a hard time at the moment. Low test, high test. It's a bit tough to be thinking trading here at present on dollar yen. So just to repeat, euro dollar's still there. If we do get the higher low, we can still trade to the daily pivot. The Aussie's gone. Too tight now to trade into the daily pivot. Pound's exactly the same. I'm not suggesting here that we're going long at all, but there was an opportunity I considered to trade to the daily pivot today, but no safe way in for me. From here, I think the pound is most definitely a short opportunity, but not off this bar, of course, this being a bullish 4-hour chart. I think I'm going to have to play this very, very cagily and wait for this to form high. And the reason I say that, if this does form as a false break of this line here, this trend line here, then it'll come back underneath, and I'll be looking for a retest of that trend line. That will give me the indication that that is a false break of this line. I'd like to see the daily pivot test first, and it's not quite there yet. Then I'd like to see the price get back under here, then retest that area. And if that then, if I got a candle closing on that, in particular bullish bar closing on that, then I would look to trade underneath it. But you've got to be very careful, and this is why you have to be cagey. You can't trade into that red line I've got there without profit. You must take profit before there if you are to consider that. And that would be my counsel, of course. All right, so that's where I'm going to leave you guys. We've got Ash's trade. How's that going? Yes, slightly in profit at the moment. That's pound Aussie short. If we can get below this daily pivot, I think his targets are looking really good. In particular, this major target or real scale everything, close everything target. I think that's a really good one. Got to get through that daily pivot though. My trades, the only one I've really got going is Euro CAD, isn't it, on the daily chart? And the entry is a long, long way from where we are, but I'm looking to trade this long scaling out at daily pivot, and then looking for our daily entry, maybe not even tomorrow, but the next day. We shall see how that pans out. But we've got to get back to here, back to this line, and then look to attack it, and as I say, scale out at the daily pivot. Guys, do apologise for the technical hiccups. Very, very embarrassing, and we hope that sorts itself out. It's a brand new way to do things, of course, via YouTube, and we need to get it sorted, because there's no point being hit and miss all the time. We really want it to be an effective platform for us, and hopefully it will be when we iron out the bugs. Thank you very much for your company. We'll do it all again tomorrow, of course, and hopefully some of those bugs are gone. Have a great rest of Tuesday and the week. We look forward to catching up with you soon. Bye bye for now.